Monday edition of the Flagship. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, Greyson Weir, as he always does. Kick off your week. You're back from spring break. You have survived. The house is no longer in disarray. Chaos. It's nice and quiet. Great because we're here to recap the weekend. Ole Miss baseball took 2 of 3 from a top 25 program to kick off SEC play. And Ole Miss women's hoops, third straight year NCAA Tournament, 7 seed in South Bend, taking on 10 seed Marquette. We'll get into all of that. But first, do want to remind you, show is always brought to you by College Corner. 3 locations, Oxford, Flowood, Ridgeland. If you cannot get to the store, go to collegecornerstore.com. You can get ready for baseball as the weather is beginning to turn, and make sure to get any kind of new quarter zip, maybe a sweatshirt, or if it's a little bit colder, then go ahead and get a polo, get you a couple t-shirts, all of that and more at College Corner Store. Like I said, 3 locations, all in Mississippi. But if you are not local or not making it to Oxford, Ridgeland, or Flowood, be sure to go check them out. collegecornerstore.com. Grayson, good morning. It was quite the weekend for Ole Miss.
Good morning. It was. I'm going to preface this by saying I probably sound pretty nasally, and I'm sure the folks down in Oxford are dealing with the same. This oak tree pollen or whatever is really kicking my ass this year. So apologies in advance for any throat clears and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, great weekend for the Rebs. We kind of said coming into this weekend, or at least I did, I wasn't going to judge this team until we got to SEC play. There was the fluky games in Hawaii. There was some weird bats stuff against High Point and Arkansas State, losing a game to Iowa, like fine, whatever. But you're on a run here. I mean, you got your losses out of the way. 15-6, pretty solid. And this weekend, really solid, really strong performance from a team that needed to prove it can hit against strong SEC pitching. I mean, South Carolina is going to win a lot of games this year. So for the Rebs to take 2 of 3 is good. You would have liked to have had Sunday. I think if a couple things go different here and there, you probably do end up with that game. That 3-run 5th inning from South Carolina in particular was frustrating because it felt like the Rebels just needed to get something going in that spot, and South Carolina was ultimately the team that did so. But really, 2 out of 3 is great against the top 20 program. You're excited about where you stand. You're 15-6. South Carolina is 15-5, and they're ranked 20 in the country. So, all things considered, really, really good stuff from the Rebels this weekend.
Yeah, I thought the lineup really put together some good ABs against a weekend rotation in the SEC. And yeah, South Carolina's a good veteran team. Lineup, they've got a nice mix of, Ethan Petrie had a good weekend. He's a younger player, but they've got some veteran pieces. It's an older team, and Ole Miss took it to them. Opened up on Friday with a good one, winning 5-4, battling back. I thought Gunnar Dennis looked really good on the mound. I know a bunch of people have been asking me, hey, why wasn't this guy starting the whole time? It's early. Let's not get too hasty. But yeah, 7 Ks in 5 innings. The off-speed stuff really plays. I'm excited to see how he can maintain it. There's going to be a lot of film out there in the next couple of weeks for those to see what he's got, put it on tape, put together some scouting reports, put together some game plans. But yeah, looked really good. Mitch Morrell out of the bullpen, solid. Mason Nichols back throwing again. And then Connor Spencer comes in, gasses everybody up, lights out. So yeah, I thought Friday night, I was pleasantly surprised at the fight and coming back and because South Carolina's good. Not that I don't think Ole Miss is good or capable of doing it, but it's a good Friday night win. And then yeah, Saturday, I mean, just it was the Andrew Fisher day, and Ole Miss just absolutely just wallops the Gamecocks.
Yeah, he has arrived. We've been waiting for this to happen. You in particular have been banging the Andrew Fisher drum. It's here. He's here. He's amazing. He's awesome. He's going to, if this team is going to do anything for the rest of the season, it's because Andrew Fisher can just mash. I mean, this kid can rake. We know that he can make contact, but if he gets a hold of the ones like he did on Saturday, my goodness. But yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there with Friday. Gunnar Dennis is awesome. 3 earned runs. I know we keep saying, I feel like a broken record here a little bit because I keep kind of saying the same thing, but you look at someone, you say, oh, 3 earned runs for a Friday starter, not great. That's not typically what you're looking for. You're looking for 1 or 2 runs for your Friday starter. I think Gunnar Dennis is not only going to get there, but him giving up 3 runs when this lineup is hitting, no big deal. I mean, for him to go out there and pitch like he did, if you're asking for that every time, and then Saturday, hey, I mean, we could talk about Andrew Fisher all we want, but what up, Liam Doyle? Like, welcome to the SEC. You are a freaking beast if you can go out there and throw 10 strikeouts and 5 1/3 every single weekend.
Yeah.
You're in a great position to take Friday and Saturday behind Gunner and Liam. And then, Sunday's a little bit of toss up, but we'll get there and we'll see what happens. But Friday was awesome. Saturday, Andrew Fisher show. I mean, my goodness, that dude turned on all of those pitches and just, I'm not even sure that the third one has landed yet. Um,
Yeah, Andrew
really
Fisher,
good.
as my wife would say, he's a six-tool player. Hits for power, average, can field, can throw, can run, and he's handsome. So he's got all six tools. Yeah, he was dialed in. The at bats, the plus at bats are starting to pile up for him.
Mhm.
Just a major league approach at the plate. And yeah, Liam Doyle was who I was referring to earlier about being in the rotation. Gunnar Dennis has been,
Yep,
but Liam Doyle, pleasant surprise, 2 wins now. And yeah, like you said, he was mowing people down.
it
Just
really was.
10 Ks. The off speed stuff was really snapping off really well. Um, he was pitching backwards. He was hitting some back heels with some breaking balls. I mean, it was a really impressive display of pitching out there. Yeah, scattered the 6 hits, the 3 earned runs. Yeah, Carolina's gonna do that to a lot of folks. They
That's
they got
okay.
they got some big boppers, but yeah, when the offense scores 12, it doesn't really matter if you give up 3. So, um, yeah, great outing again for Doyle. I think Ole Miss has figured out the Saturday slot, and then like you said, Sunday. We'll see. I talked to a former Ole Miss player earlier this morning and talking about Greyson Weir and hey, like he's close, like he's almost there.
So close.
The velo's bumped up after last year. I know that was something that was worked on, but yeah, just as when I was talking to our buddy, a friend of the program, Justin Kemp, he was saying, spin's just hard to teach, and just until you get the feel for that off speed stuff and really be able to make it a swing and miss pitch, you're going to get banged around a little bit. But yeah, well, I think Bianco and Lafferty can tweak it a little bit, and they'll work with him. And then JT Quinn again, still kind of banged up, hasn't been out there yet, but yeah, 2 of 3 from a ranked SEC opponent to kick things off after such an up and down start and a lot of questions and a brand new, full lineup of new faces and basically a brand new starting rotation on the weekend. I think Mike Bianco would take it.
Absolutely. And it was nice too. Saturday being on relative, I mean, SEC network is not necessarily national TV, but pretty damn close at this point. It was nice. I had some people who never watch college baseball, let alone Ole Miss baseball, let alone SEC network. I had a lot of people from schools within the SEC, from people up in the Northeast saying, hey, it was a slow sports day. Happened to turn on the Ole Miss game, and and here they are, playing really well on a pretty national audience. That was kind of fun too. Like it was nice to just have college baseball on TV. I didn't have to go to my ESPN app, and dig through the bowels of you got to go to college baseball. You got to shift through all the mid-major school. It was just right there. That was nice. And it was nice that the Rebels put on a show for everybody who was watching too. So that was cool. And I think if you look at the pitching in particular, Sunday's going to figure itself out. No reason to panic just yet. Like you said, Grayson's close. I mean, he's close. He's not there, but he's close. But if you can look at a position where Friday, Saturday, let's just talk about Friday, Saturday, and kind of maybe throw Sunday out of the picture here. You go Gunnar Dennis, Mitch Morrell, Mason Nichols, Connor Spencer. Then you've got Liam Doyle, Wes Mendez, Josh Mallett. Those 7 guys, those are the guys you lean on when you get to the postseason. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves by saying postseason, but that's really all you're looking for from this Ole Miss team. I think a 1 seed, it's not, out of the question here, not a 1 seed, but to host a regional is not out of the question, this early in the season. So we're not going to rule that out. But I think more than likely this Ole Miss team ends up as a 2 or a 3 seed, depending on how things go down the stretch. And so if you're just looking to get in, what can you do once you get in? You've got 7 guys that you can rely on from start to finish for 1 to 5 innings, depending on who you're looking at. And that's really what you need. And that's what this Ole Miss team needed, because there was a lot of question marks with the bullpen. There was a lot of question marks with who's going to close things out. And there was a lot of question marks with the starters, especially when it comes to the injuries. So if you can have 2 solidified starters that you're confident in, and then 3 to 5 bullpen guys that are going to go out there and do a good to great job, you're in a good spot. So this weekend was very encouraging for a team that needed encouragement. And now with that being said, I'll say it again. Luke Hill, do something, dude. Like, do something. Where you're getting paid how much money here? You're complaining about how much money you're getting paid. You're talking about allegedly hacked going back to LSU or whatever the heck it was. Like, come on, dude, hit the ball. Let's get the bat on the ball. Let's figure it out. It's time. It's SEC play. You got to do that. You got to have your Andrew Fisher game, coming up soon.
He did have the big one on Saturday that really opened that game up.
I know,
I
but
think that's got to be a big lift for him, because he has struggled. And look, he'd be the first to tell you he hasn't
yep.
lived up to the hype. But yeah, I think he's. Let's still give him a couple weekends.
Oh, definitely. And like you
but
said, that one on Saturday, that's something to build off of. Keep doing
yeah,
that. Keep doing that.
and then you've got. I mean, right now, you look at your two biggest purchases from the portal, Andrew Fisher and Trayson Hughes. They're coming around now.
Yep.
I mean, Andrew Fisher's already got 9 home runs. He's hitting 319. Trayson Hughes now up to 281. Really starting to put together some good ABs. He had some moments over the weekend. He made a great catch. And then how about during the midweek? I mean, he went viral with the double play.
That was sick.
I mean, if you kind of squinted a little bit, or if you held your phone, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna get mad or gonna yell and say, "Zach, you're a moron." Little Ichiro vibes there
Oh,
with the cannon.
yeah, that throw was sick. I mean, it really was. I also didn't realize
Him and Dart had a good back and forth on Twitter about having a competition. That was funny.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, or Dart was like, or whatever sport doesn't matter, and then Fisher replied with the picture of the football or whatever. That was good. Yeah, I mean, he's awesome, and I didn't realize he's a beefy dude. I mean, 6'1", 205 on the roster. I think he's closer to like 210. I mean, he's a big dude, and just a absolute laser for an arm with a bomb for a bat. So really positive stuff.
Yeah. Leger stays hot, 382. Jackson Ross, steady Eddie at 358. Ethan Groff has quietly been a really good leadoff guy. Really setting the table for the bulk of the order there. I want to see a lot more from Drew Markle. I want to see more of that. I want to see Braden Randall more. Those are the two that I want to
Will
see.
Furness would be nice if he could figure it out.
Yeah, my thing is for me personally, if I'm being selfish and I'm filling out a card, Braden Randall is who I want to see. Dude's an electric factory, good speed, really plus power in a small, compact frame.
Mm-hmm.
He was a
Really small.
big get for Ole Miss. I think that's a guy that I want to see more at second base. I want to see him getting more at bats. And Drew Markle, same thing. They're both from Texas, and someone can correct me in the post on the message board. One of them, I think it was Markle, was originally committed to Texas, and Ole Miss flipped him. Big kid, 6'4", 170. Yeah, I want to see, he can play outfield too. So some flexibility there. But yeah, him and Randall are going to be a lot of fun in the future. And speaking of fun, an electric factory, Wes Mendez, dude's got some juice. He's eventually going to be a weekend starter, in my opinion.
Sliding into Sunday.
Nice to see him come in and throw. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't get to watch the entirety of Sunday's game. Didn't see any Austin Simmons over the weekend.
No, I don't think we did.
But yeah, the future is bright from the left side of the bump for Ole Miss with Mendez and Simmons and Liam Doyle.
Well,
a lot of positivity over the weekend for Ole Miss.
The Simmons thing is interesting because he's now in spring ball. They're on spring break right now, so it was all baseball last week. But he's now in spring ball for football, and him and Mike Bianco and Lane Kiffin had a conversation about how to manage him because you're likely not going to need him. I mean, God willing, right? Barring unforeseen tragedy for the Rebels football team, you're not going to need him on the gridiron this fall. But you don't want to burn out his arm for both sports. You don't want to burn out his future. He's still so young. He's still so rather inexperienced in the grand scheme of things. But Lane told Mike, hey, do what you need to do. But Mike came back and said something to the effect of, we'll see what happens when we get into SEC play. They're going to kind of limit him more now that they're not in the non-conference schedule. And I have kind of conflicting devil, angel on my shoulder. On one end, it's like, okay, you don't really need this young freshman lefty for SEC play because you've got those 7 guys that we mentioned who you would like to rely on. On the flip side of things, he pitched really well in a non-conference slate and stepped up in a couple big spots.
Yeah.
So maybe you do want to use him more, but then do you run the risk of burnout? It's a really interesting kind of case study, I guess, that we'll continue to see unfold because I think Austin Simmons not playing this weekend was intentional. I think that was like hey, let's limit his innings type of thing. We don't need him. But it's not rather a need. It's more of a want. He looks good. He's a lefty. He's a tough matchup. He throws hard. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage him because Lane has given Bianco the green light, but then Bianco kind of pushed back on it and said, well, we're actually going to slow down his usage for the conference slate. So I'm curious to see what they do with him. That'll be a really interesting piece to the puzzle to watch.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Hi, this is Kevin Kessinger, former Ole Miss baseball player, son of Ole Miss Hall of Famer Don Kessinger, and dad to Ole Miss All-American shortstop Gray Kessinger, and your local community banker with B&A Bank. B&A Bank has invested 125 years in our communities, and we know the needs of North Mississippi businesses better than anyone. As a commercial lender with B&A Bank, my priority is Oxford, and I'd love to help you and your business with any lending needs.
Visit www.bnabank.com to learn more. B&A Bank, local, invested, modern banking. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. He can help you with any of your health insurance needs. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, regular health plans, to life insurance, to dental and vision, and even Medicare. He has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449. 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today. Ole Miss back on the Diamond Tuesday hosting Austin Peay. That game is at 6:30. And then back at it again. Southern Miss Tuesday, not Austin Peay. Southern Miss Tuesday at Pearl. And it is a Southern Miss team that been pretty spicy on Twitter. Been clapping back at a lot of people. The head coach has been chirping, making jokes here and there about Mississippi State and, having some fun, but always a fun rivalry there with Ole Miss.
And I think it's on TV. That never happens for Pearl, but I think it's on SEC Plus.
Yeah, it'll be on Watch ESPN, SEC Network Plus.
What a delight.
So yeah, that'll be nice because there's so many times where there's games at Pearl where it's not on TV. Southern Miss 14-6 right now. They kicked off conference play with a sweep. So pretty impressive start for Southern. They'll be fired up to play Ole Miss on Tuesday, and then after that, you hit the road at Tennessee, which will be a test. We know the Vols are going to be locked and loaded for that one. Tony Vitello and the cheeky boys up there in Knoxville will be amped up for an SEC slate. Tennessee 18-3 now after a 2-2 week. So pretty good start for the Vols as well. I'm trying to look it up as we're talking here. Who they had over the weekend to kick off SEC. Efforting Alabama took 2 of 3 in Tuscaloosa from the Vols. So, big weekend coming up for Ole Miss. We'll have full coverage of that at omspirit.com. Before we get into women's hoops, I want to remind you, show also brought to you by USA Benefits Group. If you're looking to cut your health insurance premiums by as much as 20 to 30%, aging into Medicare, you need help finding a supplement plan. Call Drew Moak and USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449. He's an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi, licensed in 7 states. He works with the country's second largest health insurance brokerage. He's got access to 35 different carriers. He could help you with any and all of your health insurance needs. Life insurance, dental, vision, Medicare, he's got it all. 601-953-8449. Check him out, usabg.com/DMOAK and get your free quote from Drew and USA Benefits Group today. All righty.
Before we move on right here to basketball real quick, let's give the Lady Diamond a quick shout out. We won't get too in depth in it because the rubber match, we're filming this for those listening on Tuesday or Wednesday or even Monday, evening. We are recording this before the rubber match between Ole Miss softball and number 2 LSU on Monday night. But Ole Miss softball went into Baton Rouge and took one from the Tigers on Sunday. Would be pretty fun if this time next week we're talking about a team that went in and took 2 of 3 on the road from the number 2 team in the country. So just quick shout out to softball there. We'll dive more into it when we see what actually happens. But they played calling Baton Rouge on the bus yesterday on the way back to the hotel. So that was pretty savage, but hopefully it doesn't give the Tigers a little extra juice there. It'd be pretty nice if they go in and could win a series on the road against number 2 LSU. It'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, Jalea Laster, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. It was a big day, had a double. Yeah, I mean, yeah, anytime you steal an SEC road win, it's big, especially against the number 2 team in the country, but stealing a series would be even bigger. Yeah, and I heard it on the highlights, and now I've forgotten how to correctly pronounce it, so apologies to Makina. Is it Clytherms?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yep. Clytherms. At least that's what I say. So if I'm
Six.
saying it wrong, we're both saying it wrong.
6 1/3, struck out 4, scattered 7 hits, only 1 earned run. So big dub for Ole Miss softball. Now 19-8 overall. Handed LSU its first loss of the season. So yeah, that's pretty big. So Monday, I'm assuming the Saturday, Sunday, Monday was because of spring break, right?
Yep. Spring
Okay.
break, and I think there was like maybe some holidays or something. I don't know.
Okay. D1 baseball does not have the Rebs ranked yet, but Baseball America Ole Miss debuts at 17 in the new top 25 at Baseball America. So Ole Miss baseball ranked for the first time this season. So big ups to them. All right, let's get to women's hoops. As the Lady Rebs 7 seed, they will take on the 10 seed Marquette. That will be on Saturday at 3:45 Central Time, ESPNU. And then the winner of that one gets the winner of Notre Dame, Kent State. Pretty notable thing to mention here. Coach Ivy at Notre Dame confirmed that Kylie Watson tore her ACL, will not play in the NCAA tournament for Notre Dame. So pretty big deal. Shout out to our friends at Red Cup. JUCO All-American did a deep dive looking at Marquette early on. They have one player who is 6'2". Ole Miss has 6.
Yep.
2 of Ole Miss players are 6'4". So the size matchup, I imagine that Madison Scott will be D'ing up their taller guard, 17 points per game, 38 from 3-point range. So Kennedy Todd Williams, Madison Scott will probably draw those assignments. And then you've got the 3-headed monster of Marquisha Davis, all SEC performer. I'm excited to see how Coach Yo and the Rebels attack Marquette. And then look, I didn't know who it was. You might be able to tell me, but on the bracketology, bracket announcement telecast on ESPN, there was an analyst that before they signed off, gave a shout out to Ole Miss, said he thinks Ole Miss can make the Elite 8.
Yeah, I don't know who it was that said that, but I was looking at the bracket too, and admittedly, I have not watched a lot of Nebraska or Indiana or Oklahoma, kind of the other teams in the region, Oregon State. But I have watched a decent amount of Notre Dame, all things considered, and losing one of your best players right before the tournament is a very big loss for the Fighting Irish. Yes, you're at home, but Ole Miss went out to Stanford and took down, a Cameron Brink in Stanford last year. So you're looking at a scenario where there's no reason you should lose to Marquette. You have a really good opportunity to beat Notre Dame. And then you're looking at Oregon State, A&M, Nebraska. You've already beaten A&M. It's a really good opportunity for this team to make another run. It was I think they lost to A&M earlier this year. So I take that back. Hard to beat a team twice though. But anyway, it's a good draw. And
Yeah.
You're in a good spot where, you didn't get like LSU's got to face Louisville. So you got the Haley Van Lith rematch there, then Creighton and UCLA. Like they bottom right quadrant, really the whole right side of the bracket, only one team of Iowa, UCLA, and LSU, are going to advance from that side. So all things considered, Ole Miss ended up in a fairly soft corner of the bracket, especially when you bring Notre Dame's injury into account. So Coach Yo, if she does what she does and this team defends the way that they can defend, you're in a good spot. Make a run.
Yeah, Ole Miss gets to that Elite Eight spot, inevitably going to face the number 1 overall seed, undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks. Look, South Carolina's probably going to run the table. I think they've got a legitimate shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Where they finished 38-0.
Yeah, they don't play anybody either on this side of the bracket. I mean, their hardest matchup potentially is an Ole Miss team or a Notre Dame team in the Elite Eight.
Yeah. It's hard to say anybody can really challenge that South Carolina team. Just so loaded, so deep, big, physical. The guard play is really good. But yeah, Sweet 16 a year ago, third straight year in the tournament. Ole Miss gets to the Elite Eight, regardless of what happens against South Carolina or whoever. Be a hell of a year for Coach Yo and company. Kind of putting together quite the statement, putting the rest of the SEC and everybody on notice that Ole Miss is a legitimate brand and a program that's here to stay. I know Coach Yo put out a tweet earlier that said, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't." And it was a graphic of all the transfers and the impact that they've all had on the program. I mean, just everybody on the team this year to Shakira Austin a couple years ago, getting drafted, doing well in the WNBA. So now it's a viable move to go to Ole Miss, play for Coach Yo, and get to the WNBA and play in meaningful games in March. So big weekend for Coach Yo and the women over there. It's a fun time in that building. We miss anything? I think we covered just about everything. I know that we talked about it a little bit over the weekend. But yeah, I heard it, confirmed it with a couple people, and then Jake Thompson confirmed it with Chris Beard when he said Ole Miss will not play in the NIT. They're pretty much turning all attention to 24-25, resetting the roster, hitting the portal hard. We'll have full portal coverage at omspirit.com. I'll be trying to parse through everything. There a lot of dudes. I think our buddy Jeff Goodman put out a tweet earlier this morning. I think before 9 a.m., looking at the number here, I think there's already been 30 players in the portal before 9:30. So yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. Talked with a couple guys on staff over the weekend, and they're like, "Hey man, we've been hitting the portal. We've been portaling since 7 a.m. So that staff is working. They know what's at stake. I know Chris Beard wants to. Nobody wants the 24-25 season to start tomorrow. Start faster than Chris Beard. I know he was disappointed with how the team finished. Again, he'd be the first to tell you it's unacceptable. So Ole Miss will be back at it. So yeah, not the way you want the first season to go, but still 20-12, not terrible. But yeah, they're going to be hitting the portal hard for sure.
Yep, and I love the approach that Beard is taking, similar to Lane and the football staff. You enter the portal, you're any good, they're giving them a call. They've contacted everybody and their mother and their uncle and their dog walker. They're reaching out. I like the blanket approach, because then once you send the blanket, spread the blanket, you can pull it back in and really, who is interested in you, and are you as equally interested in them as they are in you? And I like that approach. Let's see what happens. Let's throw it out there. Let's let's make offers and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I've confirmed 3 or 4 that Ole Miss has contacted and or visited with. You can go read all of that at omspirit.com. I'll continue to have more coverage of that as we'll be we'll be talking about everybody that Ole Miss contacts. There'll be some caveats in there of, hey, well, the staff recruited them out of high school, or the staff has connections. They've already visited with them. So, contact is going to be made with just about everybody. That's just the case for the portal. But we'll make sure to let you know, what's legitimate, what's not. If this is just a, hey, how you doing? Or if this is a, hey, we're going to come visit with you, try to get a visit set up to get you to Oxford. So we'll let you know. We'll keep you abreast of all of that. So yeah, omspirit.com. If you're not a member already, it's just $1. Sign up. You can get all of our premium articles. You can get all the premium content on the message board, as things will be moving quickly with the portal, as a lot of players, either seasons are done or they've already announced their intentions to enter the portal. So we'll keep you in the know there. Appreciate Grayson as always every Monday. Appreciate the folks at College Corner, Drew Moak at USA Benefits Group for bringing it to you. And I guess one final thing. Over the weekend, Ole Miss did make an addition to the staff, hiring SMU's Senior Director of Scouting and Player Personnel, Alex Brown. Big time hire. Going to talk with Billy Embody of On 3. He covers SMU and LSU, Louisiana. He covers it all, Texas. Talking with him on tomorrow's show to get an idea of what Ole Miss is getting in Alex Brown. I feel like, hey, look, the theme continues of Lane Kiffin identifying young, up-and-coming talent to bring to his staff. So big get there. Alex Brown going alongside the new GM, Billy Glasscock, two respected guys in the industry that have a very specific and targeted approach to recruiting in the portal. So we'll have a interview tomorrow with Billy to talk about that hire. So for Grayson, I'm Zach. This has been the Flagship. We appreciate y'all tuning in as always. We will talk to y'all on Tuesday. We out.